They were slaves, but wielded more power than kings. They were warriors, yet defied their own sultan. They were the Janissaries, the Ottoman Empire's unstoppable force and, ultimately, its greatest weakness. This is the story of a corps that wasn't just an army but a symbol of the rise and fall of an empire. It's 1453. Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, is under siege. The city has withstood countless attacks over centuries, but this time, something is different. The Ottomans have a secret weapon, the Janissaries. Trained from childhood, these men are no ordinary soldiers. They are the Sultan's personal force, an elite corps designed to be as loyal as they are lethal. And today, they will make history. The origins of the Janissaries trace back to the reign of Sultan Murad I in the late 14th century. As the Ottoman Empire expanded, the need for a professional, centralized army became clear. But this was no ordinary recruitment. The Ottomans turned to the devşirme system, a policy as ingenious as it was brutal. Christian boys, as young as 12, were taken from their families in the Balkans and brought to the Ottoman capital. Stripped of their identities, they were converted to Islam and trained for a single purpose: to serve the Sultan. This blood tax, as it was often called, was devastating for families. But for the boys, it was a transformation that promised power and prestige. Their training was not just physical, it was psychological. Janissaries were taught to obey without question, to endure hardship, and to fight with unwavering precision. They lived under strict discipline, forbidden to marry or own property. They were not just soldiers, they were a brotherhood, bound by loyalty to the Sultan and to each other. At the siege of Constantinople, the Janissaries were the Sultan's spearhead, leading the final assault. Their rotating musket fire, a revolutionary tactic, broke the defenders' lines. When the city fell, it wasn't just an Ottoman victory. It was a declaration that the Janissaries were the most feared force in the world. But the glory of the Janissaries didn't last forever. By the 16th century, the rules began to bend. They started marrying, trading, and passing their positions to their sons. What had once been a disciplined elite force was becoming a corrupt political class. The Janissaries were no longer just soldiers, they were kingmakers. They toppled sultans, demanded ever-increasing privileges, and resisted every attempt at reform. By the 18th century, their ranks swelled to over 100,000, but many were untrained and uninterested in battle. By the early 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was in decline, and modernization was no longer optional. Sultan Mahmud II knew the Janissaries were the biggest obstacle to reform. In 1826, he took a gamble that would either save the empire or destroy it. In June 1826, Sultan Mahmud II struck. Using his modernized army, he crushed the Janissaries in a bloody confrontation known as the Auspicious Incident. Thousands were killed, their corps disbanded forever. It was the end of an era and the beginning of a modern Ottoman army. Today, the Janissaries are remembered as both heroes and villains. They were warriors who built an empire and rebels who nearly tore it apart. Their story is one of loyalty, betrayal, and the delicate balance of power. And while their core is gone, their legacy endures, etched into the culture and history of the Ottoman world. So, were the Janissaries the ultimate warriors or a cautionary tale of corruption? Perhaps they were both. One thing is certain, they were never ordinary.